All right, y'all. I'm here to talk about the Eric Bischoff scapegoat issue because that's what he was, a scapegoat. He was set up. Now, there's two sides to this story, and I'm going to start with the Eric Bischoff side first. When he took this job, he uprooted his family and moved from where he was living comfortably to Stamford, Connecticut. Uprooted his family and had to move across the country for this damn job. And he really didn't need it because financially he's set. You know, he made millions with WCW under Ted Turner. He worked for WWE before years ago as an on-screen personality. So when he left, I'm thinking, you know, he was done with it. I mean, he would work wrestling gigs here and there, you know, production. And at one time, him and Jason Hervey had teamed up and formed a production company and had a TV series. But why they hired him, why they hired him just to set him up, I'll never know. But here's their side of the story. Apparently, while he was working there 4 months before the premiere, critics said during meetings, he would vanish during meetings, often be found in catering, and then instead of, you know, when meetings would start late and go to 3 a.m., he would leave at 7 to go out to dinner with his wife and couldn't be reached. Also, it was said that he wasn't familiar with none of the talents and didn't know their names. Okay, you can't fault him for that. I mean, the guy hasn't worked in WWE, and doesn't keep up with wrestling on a daily basis for years. You know, if he doesn't know the names and the talents, that's not his fault. That's WWE Creative's fault, because those talents are not entertaining. Those talents are not exciting, and the show is garbage. The product is garbage. So that's not Bischoff's fault if he's not familiar with these talents. You know, he has a life. You know, his own life. You know, he's married with a child or children. He has a wife. You know, he's probably got, you know, other important business, and I'm pretty sure there's lots more important business than whack-ass wrestling entertainment. Also, it's believed, you know, when he would vanish, if he was handling other business, or, you know, if he was just, you know, not taking care of his duties. Okay, maybe deep down, do you people ever stop to think maybe deep down he didn't want this job, you know? And then, then the SmackDown show premiered. Okay, it looked good for the first show, not to me anyway, especially the way Kofi Kingston lost the belt in less than 5 seconds. That was the nail in your coffin for that bullshit. And plus the Rock segment, the opening Rock segment with Becky Lynch and Corbin. Basically, you made the People's Champion look like the People's Chump with the dialogue, you know. But the Fox premiere for SmackDown drew 3.888 million viewers, while the follow-up episode with that bullshit draft, that wannabe looking like the NFL draft, averaged only 2.877 million viewers. And then the third week, you lost another million viewers. And because of that, you're using that as an excuse to fire Bischoff, basically to make him a scapegoat. It's not Bischoff's fault. Your TV show and your product is trash. It's not Bischoff's fault. And naming Bruce Pritchard as the new head of SmackDown and Ed Koskey, you know, what makes you think those two are going to do any better? The product is still trash. No one likes the talent, and of course, Bayley's so-called heel turn, no one's feeling it. No one's feeling it. You know, it's trash. Who cares? No matter how hard you try, I don't care if you're on Fox. Fox and NFL don't mix, and you need to quit trying to legitimize garbage. You know, with this Fox WWE backstage studio segments, and then trying to hire CM Punk. Do you really think CM Punk wants anything to do with that bullshit ever again? I mean, you know, come on, Vince, think. And everybody else who's on Bischoff's case, think for a minute. Take a good look in the mirror at yourselves and at Vince, and look at the product. But I guess, you know, everybody needs a scapegoat. Now, Bischoff has no ill will feelings, because he said on Twitter, like I said, you know, Bruce Pritchard is a good friend of his. He'll thrive in this position, and he's working with the best creative team of writers, you know, he's ever worked with. Of course, that's Bischoff being professional and I guess, you know, saving the face, you know. But we all know that ain't the best team of professionals and creative. Because if they were, they would actually create a good show that people want to watch, and it would be entertaining. Because if you're losing in the first 3 weeks of the show, if you're losing 1 million viewers in a row, back to back to back, 3 times, that shows me that obviously those aren't the best team of creators and creative team backstage. And you know what? You don't have a creative team. Half those creative team are former TV show writers, and I believe one used to write for Sons of Anarchy. He fell asleep during a meeting. I think the first a couple of days, even when Bischoff was there, I think Bischoff even saw it. But don't blame Bischoff for your shortcomings. Don't blame Bischoff because the show you produce and you create, you seem to kind of throw it together and just throw it out there and see what happens. But of course, look what happens. You bounce back with less viewers. So, as far as Eric Bischoff goes, Eric Bischoff, good luck. You don't need the job. You never needed it. I wouldn't have taken it. The minute he called me and asked me to be a producer, I said, no, I got something else going on. Click, I'll see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. And look, I called this months ago in the previous videos when long before this SmackDown premiere ever happened. I saw this bullshit coming, and what I predicted has come to pass. This Fox produced SmackDown is a clusterfuck of a show, and now next Friday it's moving to Fox Sports 1. I wonder why that is. So, since the main Fox network is losing viewers, I guess you're going to put it on FS1. And you know what? You're going to lose viewers there. So, to the Fox executives, make sure you had a clause in that contract to refund that $1 billion you advanced McMahon for the next 5 years. Make sure you get a full refund. Dump that shit. SmackDown needs to be booted from the network. I don't know. We know bullshit when we see it. Here in the YWC, IWC, we know bullshit when we see it. And you're using Bischoff as a scapegoat. So, and remember, this was Bischoff, former WCW guy, the guy who buried Vince McMahon for 83 weeks over years. So to me, this is just another Vince McMahon ploy to basically bury somebody in WCW. I guess the sting of losing the ratings all those years ago to WCW, to Ted Turner, it still hurts, doesn't it, Vince? It still hurts. Well, too bad, because on Wednesday nights, NXT is taking a thrashing. All Elite Wrestling has beaten NXT in the ratings twice in a row, and we're going for third time is always a charm. Hey, so Vince, tick-tock, tick-tock. WWE, all around, whack-ass wrestling entertainment, your time is almost up. Leave your thoughts and comments. Like, share, subscribe. Peace.